Back row administrative world premiere, Mr. Marty coming at you live and direct. So, one thing I wanted to kind of teach people how to do is to do sports decode. I haven't really been doing anything, so I haven't got a chance to decode. Didn't get a chance to decode the game for this weekend, but probably some predictable outcomes that we would have went and looked at the numbers for the day and the numerology for the day. So, most of everything I do is based upon numerology. If I do a sports decode, um, remember in numerology, there's a lot of common sense stuff. So, at times, don't try to get away from the common sense factor, and sometimes you can kind of outsmart yourself in numerology and sports. So, always stick to the common sense, as we say. So, Super Bowl coming up is a day. It's on a day, February the 2nd, 2020, a day with 44, 8, a lot of 8, 44, 4 plus 4 is 8. So this is how I do it. 4 times 4 is 16, okay? 4 plus 4 is 8. So you see all these 8s in succession? Pretty much, 8 is going to be a dominating number. The 8 is a very dominant number. Also 33, which is 9. So very dominant number. So one thing I look at is, okay, which team kind of has those numbers? Which team kind of vibrates with those numbers? And of course, the major team that vibrates with those numbers is the Green Bay Packers. So Packers, if you stroll over, see Packers is 44 in gematria. So Packers is 44, Super Bowl on a day with 44 numerology. Good chance we could see the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. But that's just part of this. So, okay, I got that piece. How else can I kind of nail down the Packers being in the Super Bowl? So there's another website called Pro Football Statistics. It's a lot of these statistics sites and a lot of good ways of getting to gematria. So let's put in Aaron Rodgers. Let's put in Aaron Rodgers. He's got a funny spelling name, Rodgers with a D. So you already know Aaron Rodgers was chosen. Who spells Rodgers? R-O-D. So they're already telling me what's up in this. All right. So one thing we look at when we're looking at gematria, trying to kind of get some numbers or anything that has to do with numerology, is in football you look at what we call the QBREC rating. It's pretty much the statistics for that quarterback's wins and losses throughout the season. So we see off the bat that Aaron Rodgers can get his 114th win in the next game or his 61st loss. So let's go to that date, because all the next games are going to be on the 19th. Going to the 19th. So the 19th is a day with 60 numerology. You see that from the jump. 60, 24, 15, 40, 13, 19 numerology. Those are our numerology numbers for the day. Also 347, which is 71. All right. So right off the bat, I see that Aaron Rodgers can stay on 60 losses on a day with 60 numerology. And he can get his 114th win on that day. So he can get that 114th win on that day. So, going into this game with Packers equaling 44, Aaron Rodgers being able to get it, staying on 60 wins on the 19th to roll them in the second. Good chance we can look at Green Bay. The only thing you can say that's going against Green Bay, however, if you go to Green Bay, put Green Bay in here. And one thing you can do on this website, go to head-to-head statistics. Helps out a lot with that. And if we stroll down to all the head-to-head matchups, these are head-to-head franchise records, also playoff franchise records in this. And I'm not going to sell this knowledge. I don't believe in that bullshit. I'm not selling knowledge to people. Some people do it for money. I'm not going to do that. This knowledge is free. It's been free for generations, and I'm going to give it to you. So let me bag up, because I kind of went into the page. So Tennessee, this is going to be their 13th matchup. We see that the Titans can get their 6th win or their 8th. Well, they're not playing the Titans. I'm sorry, I'm messing up. I apologize. So let's go to San Francisco. San Francisco going to get their 33rd win or their 29th loss. 33rd win or their 29th loss on that day. But in the playoffs, you see that playoff record, they can go 4-4. So that's a sticky part of this. Sticky part of geometry sometimes. You see that 44, Packers equal 44, then go 4-4 in the playoffs. Good reason to go away from them. San Francisco get that 33rd win, and they can come into the Super Bowl on 33 wins, which kind of tallies up a possible loss. Also 16, 4-4, 16. So those are some things that kind of work against and can work against. But there's no 33 numerology on this day. That's kind of next game. So the biggest piece of numerology that stands out is the 60 for me. That'll be something that stands out. 19 is also 8. You have to look at that in context. But the biggest piece in this stands out is the 60. But you can't overlook 44 with the 16. The thing I would overlook is there is no 44 date numerology. So that 60 for me will be Trump in that situation between Green Bay and San Francisco. Plus, we've been seeing this thing with San Francisco and Kansas City and all these commercials with my homie. But possibilities and narrative. You can have an Alpha and Omega ritual. Remember, Kansas City and Green Bay were the first two teams to play in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 1, then we go to the last. And why do I say the last? Because remember, Richard Sherman already teased that there might be a player strike and the XFL starts next year. So the first and the last. The kind of last modern way that the Super Bowl might be done could be this year. So that's something to think about when you see that Kansas City possibility and Green Bay Super Bowl. So that's one possibility and that's one way to do it. So remember, use Pro Football Reference. It's Pro Football Reference. You can pull that up. So the things that we want to look at quarterbacks. We want to look at head-to-head records. Everything you can find on this site is here. And you want to try to match that to the best of your ability with the numerology for the day. So that's kind of how I do sports breakdown. But use common sense. So 19 being 8. And what I mean by 19 is 8. If you take your tools and go number properties, I'm going to put 19 here. And you'll see that 19 is the 8th prime number. And we go to our prime, 19 is the 8th prime. So remember, anytime you're dealing with the number 8, it is a powerful number. 8 is a very powerful number in numerology. So that's always something to think about. We got 44 numerology last year. So, always think about it when you're dealing with the number 8. It never really moves. So we want to kind of tie into it the best we can. But that's just, a way that I do my breakdowns and, just use common sense. It's a day with 19 numerology. If you see anything with 19 in it, there's a good chance it's going to stick. So, we got time. We'll do the other game real quick. So, of course, our other game for that day is the team that everybody's talking about. And we can do it. And we'll pull up the Tennessee Titans. We'll go to Tennessee's head-to-head. So Tennessee will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll be playing the Chiefs. And we'll go to head-to-head between Kansas City. So Kansas City, Tennessee against Kansas City. This will be the 51st time they played. Hold up, I'm sorry. Pulling up the wrong. I'm correct. Yeah, 51st time they played. 24. They can get their 24th win against Kansas City, which is 8. 2 times 4 is 24, which is 8. Or they get their 27th or 28th loss. 28 would be, of course, 16. We could say 16, also 10. So we know there's no 28 numerology, but we do got that 24. There's a date with 24 numerology on the 19th. They can get that 8th win. 19 is 8. So there's a good chance we might see an upset. It's not going to be, a lot of people are going with the Kansas City. I think they're not going to go that way. I think Tennessee, and there's a ritual behind Tennessee. Tennessee can get that 8th win on the day with 8 numerology, 19 8 prime, and slide in the Super Bowl. And if that happens, look for Derrick Henry to be your MVP. Remember, this is 2020. We talked about the 2020 ritual. 22 is 11-11. Remember, everything has kind of been centering around Derrick Henry, number 22. So look for him to be the Super Bowl MVP. Will they let Green Bay win? Possibility, because you also go into this theme of the year of the black quarterback and the great one, Aaron Rodgers, overcoming all this and being the last man standing, because Aaron Rodgers would be the last big-time quarterback left if the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl. He'd be the last man standing. He would officially be the last man standing. And if Rodgers was to win the Super Bowl, he would get his 115th win. He can get his 115th win. So I always check every number. So I go to number properties. Does 115 have a meaning? It does. It has no prime number meaning. So it could get that 115th win. Could get that 115th win. And could get his 61st loss. So 61. Let's pull up 61. 61 is the 18th prime. So let's go back to Super Bowl day. Go back to Super Bowl day, which is second. And you'll look around. Do I have any 18 on that day? Do I have any, any 18s? You don't really see any 18. Remember, 61 is the 18th prime. All right. And also go to your gematria. So I did a lot of gematria. And we can go to, let's say they play the Titans. And we can kind of go over. See all the gematria we did this morning. So Titans. Don't really see any 61, any 18s. Tennessee. Don't really see anything like that either. So Tennessee Titans. Don't really see any of that. So San Francisco, we could check Kansas City. See if we see any. Okay, so with Kansas City, you do see 114, but that would mean that Aaron Rodgers would have to get knocked out the game, and they'd have to come back and win without Rodgers for that to mean something. So we know that might not mean anything. And with the 49ers, we know 114 means something. San Francisco's 116, 50, so we really don't see too much. So kind of tight on some of the gematria. But then, like I say, the big thing with Green Bay is that 44 going into the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is 44, also 33. Green Bay possess, that vibrates with Green Bay. So a good chance we see the Packers in there. But the AFC is the tough one. Is it going to be Kansas City or is it going to be Tennessee? The problem with Tennessee, here's our problem with Tennessee. We go to our head-to-head. Biggest problem with Tennessee, I mean, not Tennessee, but our biggest problem with Kansas City, we go to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can get that 8th loss. And remember, we said the 19th. Go back to the 19th here. Going back to the 19th. Make sure you guys see this. 119 is a day. 24 is 8. 19 is 8. You know, I don't fuck with 8. When I see 8, I don't challenge 8. And 8 is going to hit. Remember, 8 is a time number. Has a lot to do with time. Has 88, the duality numbers. So I don't really mess with 8. So when I see 8, it already tells me that, you know, we might not see what we think we're going to see. So if Kansas City does win, that's a hurdle for them to overcome. They get the 20. He'll get his 26th win, I believe. He'll get his 25th win, which is 7-10. Also, he can get his 26th win in a Super Bowl if they were to win, which is the 12 or 8. So he got another 8 chance there. But the big one is he can get that 8th loss. And I don't really challenge 8. When I see 8 and I know 19 is the 8th prime, then my homie's done. He's finished. So Tennessee Titans have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. And if they do win, we can go back to that the big 22 ritual. Go that 22 ritual and Derrick Henry being the MVP of the Super Bowl, kind of running all around Green Bay to kind of embarrass them. And we got a 69 ritual too, which is pi, things coming full circle. Remember now, the NFL is now this quarterback-driven league, and they stepped away from the running back. Derrick Henry will be the return to the running back-driven league and stepping away from the quarterback shining. Think about that piece too. Remember now, Derrick Henry hasn't been we've had a lot of superstar running backs, but none running like Derrick Henry, really being superstar running backs where you got to stop this guy if you're going to win. Basically, that hasn't happened in a long time in the NFL, and that's a good script to write. But you know, a lot of various scripts inside of this. A lot of various scripts inside of this. A lot of various scripts. And one more thing I want to look at, if we got time, is I want to look at, come out of that, I want to look at Steve McNair. Something hit me. You see, I'm doing a search for Steve Eric McNair. Alright, so Steve Eric McNair died July 4th, 2009. July 4th, 2009. So, from the date, we'll do date, let's go to July 4th. I'm gonna go to 2009. 1 to 9, make sure we 9. And let's go to the date of the Super Bowl, the second. All right. So that's gonna be approximately 11 years, 0 months, 29 days prior to if Tennessee makes it to the Super Bowl. 11 years, 0 months, 29 days. We could be 1129. We'll check that number first. Check all numbers. Don't just say, oh, well, that means nothing. Every number means something. If it doesn't mean nothing, find out. That's the 189th prime. So 1129 will be the 189th prime. So we'll look at that. And 4046. So 4046 will say it's 446, but we'll look at the whole of 4046. Which is nothing. And we'll look at 446, which is nothing. So let's go back to 189 and see inside of our gematria, if we got any 189, got a standing on Green Bay, and on that day, there's no 189 numerology, so something I wanted to look at. July 4th. Let's say, oh, okay, I'm on January, I'm sorry. July 4th, so we're off. So let's do this again. So 74, died on day with 74 numerology. 10629. So 10 years, 6 months, 29 days. Take every number, like I said, even a number that big. 10629. Okay, I get nothing out of that. So take 1629. Remember, zero sometimes don't mean nothing in numerology, so that's nothing. And let's take the big number of 3865. 3,865 days for the Super Bowl. So we still get nothing out of that. Something to look at. I try to look at all aspects of this. Okay. And Derrick Henry, birthday is on the 1st. So his birthday will be 29 days prior to the Super Bowl. 29 days prior to the Super Bowl will be Derrick Henry's birthday. And we know 29 is 10, 29 is also 18. So those two things we do know about 29 and what I mean by 29 and 10 for you might be skeptical. 29 is a 10th prime number. So 10, 29, 10th prime number. That's what I'm talking I've done these numbers so many times that after a while you'll start memorizing them, so you know what certain numbers are. So it takes, I mean, you got to do this for a while, but as soon as you see it, you know what it is. Numbers can have several different meanings. Remember that with numbers. 44 is 8 and 16. So when we see 44 as the kill code. Remember 44 is the kill code. 44 also can tie you into 8. 44 also can tie you to 16. 16 ties you into 8. Every number kind of goes back to 8. 24 is 8. 24 is 6. So, you know, numbers come in, they had so many 6. 33 is 9. 33 is 6. We got 24, 6. You got 6 in this game. You got a lot of 8 in this game. But 8 is our powerful number for the Super Bowl. And that's why I'm saying that if we go back to our head-to-head, go back to my homie losing that game on a day with 8 numerology, and kind of give you guys a head-to-head with the Titans. So let's say the Titans do get this. Let's see what the head-to-head might look like. Titans, Green Bay. So they've never played in they've never played in the playoffs before. This will be the first time. So Green Bay can get their 6th loss. The Titans can get that 8th win. If that happens in a head-to-head game, if they play each other, this will be the 13th time they met. The Titans can get that 8th win. I mean, let's go down. So Green Bay, 8, and then, or they can get the 6th loss. So 2 things can happen. They can get that 6th loss. I mean, we got a day with 6 numerology. You got 6 playing around. But they also can get that 8th win. So people will say, well, 33 is going to trump. Well, 8 is there. It's in your face. They can get that 8th win. They can get that 8th win and be 8 and be 8 and 5. 85. So, like I say, and that's 13 too. So 8 and 5 is 13. But the big one is they can get that 8th win. So we could see the Tennessee Titans as your Super Bowl champions. Spread some money around Kansas City, Green Bay. But definitely put some money on the Tennessee Titans to be the Super Bowl champions. And Derrick Henry right now, $1,300 for him to be the MVP. Put some money on him if you are going to play around with this to be the MVP of the league. Or not the league, but the MVP of the Super Bowl. So good chance that we see Tennessee Titans Super Bowl champs. Tennessee Titans Super Bowl champs. Pie. And remember, pie rituals are various rituals. Full circle. Remember the South shall rise again? Remember the South shall rise again. We go back to the Civil War. Remember the Tennessee in the Civil War was Tennessee was the first state to volunteer for the Civil War. And remember we got this Civil War narrative, but they've been trying to drive us back in the Civil War. That was our first state to volunteer was Tennessee. That's what we call them, the Tennessee Volunteers. History that you can look up and learn. Learn some stuff on the internet and stop just going on YouTube to watch dumb videos. But let's go to the Civil War. All right, so the Civil War, you see, started April 12th, 1861, and it ended May the 9th. So if we take, and we go to the 12th, go to April, make sure I'm doing it right, y'all. You know my mind. And we got to go all the way. Well, we can do this a different way. We have to do it 1861. So the numerology of December 12th, 1861 was a date with 95 numerology, 32 numerology, 23 numerology, 77 numerology, 14 numerology, 102 numerology, 263 numerology. Okay. 1686 numerology, 23, 68. That's our various numerology for that day to start. 263 is the only number I think that would mean something. And 23. So 263 was the 56th prime number. 56 is 11 and 30. 95. But our big number is 58004. 58004. So I would check that number just to see if it means anything. So it doesn't mean anything, but we take 584, because remember zeros sometimes have no value. I'm sorry, I didn't get in there. 584. All right, so that's nothing. So things to check for assembling. So 95 numerology, we take 95. 95 is 45. Also 14. 95 is nothing. 32. 23 is 7. Oh, no, actually 23 is 9. My fault. So 23 is a ninth prime number. So those are just some numbers for that day. Okay. So a lot of different things you can look at trying to, connect the symbolism in the two. And, we see a lot of numbers with Tennessee. So interesting numbers with Tennessee. Could see Tennessee Titans as the Super Bowl champs. Something to look at. And if that does happen, like I said, they got the numbers. They can beat Green Bay. They can get that 8th win. And also, they could get Derrick Henry. The 22 ritual can be fulfilled if Derrick Henry becomes the MVP. Derrick Henry, number 22. 2020 is 22. So that's why a lot of stuff has been focusing around Derrick Henry. Okay. All right, and then you can take it even further to the meaning of these type of ritual. Tennessee Volunteers, states to break away from the Union. Remember, Meghan Markle and Harry just walked away from the royal family, breaking away from the royal ties. And I told y'all a long time ago, let's go back to Civil War. Go back to Civil War. I said a long time ago that Harry and his brother were going to start a civil war in Europe, in England, because Harry was going to do something. And I still to this day think that Harry's going to fight to be the Prime Minister of England, which is unheard of. You never had a royal family member since the king having power in England. This is way down. Remember the Queen has the power right now. What if Harry runs for Prime Minister? Which he can do now that he's now a local citizen, just a regular citizen, and not, if he says, well, I'm not going to be a member of the royal family, Harry can run for Prime Minister of the country. That will start a civil war because his brother will become the king. Down the line, his brother's going to become the king, Harry will be the Prime Minister, and that'll open up civil war in the country because you're going to have the king want to do it his way. Both of them are going to have love from the people. Both of them going to want power. And I said a long time ago that was going to be your major civil war was going to be the English Civil War, brother versus brother. They tied all in, and then we go back to Tennessee, the Volunteers, Civil War breaking out throughout the world. So American Civil War with Tennessee, the Volunteers winning the first state to go into the Civil War, to volunteer to be a part of the Civil War, going right back into those type of rituals and all vibrating and tying into what's going on around the world. So everything they do in sports has a meaning. Everything they do has a meaning. All right, so just a way to do it. Remember, utilize your pro football reference. You're going to utilize your day calculators, all your numerology. Do not down and discount numerology. Never do that. That's the stupidest thing you can do when decoding sports. If you discount numerology, you're a damn fool. Numerology means something. I know some people say, well, you can't just go off the numerology. Go off the numerology. It means something. But don't discount it. If you see 8s as your prime numbers, not prime numbers for the day, and you see a chance for a team to get an 8, they're going to get the 8. That's just what it is. So don't discount. Don't discount. Some things are common sense, but a lot of common sense still ties into numerology. Still has a tie into numerology, right? So a lot of things you can look at, but let's definitely look at this Civil War tie with the football game, with the Tennessee Volunteers, with Harry and his brother in the English Civil War, which I still am really sold on now that he's moved away, and that possibility of him becoming the Prime Minister of England is there on the board. So those are some things we got to look at with that Civil War. All right, so right now we got the story, Harry and William unite against press. The brothers debunk the claim of legends that Harry and Meghan decided to quit the royal family at 2 years of bullying by senior royals. So, you know, they come out and say that's not true, but we know, you know, the script is for that to be the issue, and them possibly get into this tit for tat, and, you know, Harry doing something. And I always said that Harry was going to be the leader of the country because they were just scripting that way. He's more, they got him scripted to be more like his mother. But, and the animosity that Harry feels against the royal family for the murder of his mother, because I think and know Harry understands by now that his family murdered his mother, and that's gonna kick it off. That's that hatred, or that scripted hatred is gonna kick it off. So a lot of things you can do in this, but let's just watch Tennessee. And like I said, if Tennessee does go to the Super Bowl, they will win, and Mr. Henry will be your MVP. Mr. Mahdi Peace and Hair Grease. That's it. Oh, one last thing before I go. So the LSU game is tonight. LSU Clemson, and Clemson will win that game. They will go 2-2. You'll see the 22 ritual again. Remember now, Sunday, February 2nd, you see the 22 ritual. Second day, 22. Derrick Henry, number 22. That's why I'm pushing towards Tennessee and closing out and finishing up that ritual. And Clemson tonight can go get their second win. LSU can get that second loss, 22. There's your 22 ritual right there. That's all you got in that game is a 22 ritual. So the 22 ritual is Clemson getting that second win and Dabo getting that third title. Because remember we said Dabo is going to be the next heir apparent to Saban. He's going to win all these titles. Okay? And then Dabo's name does vibrate with today, the championship number 131. All right? Mr. Mahdi, Peace and Hair Grease. Have a great day.